for Fire, the 2v2 player in the 1v1 World Cup for Team Coastal Europe. I played 3 matches, actually 4 now, including semifinals, for Team Coastal Europe in the 2v2 tier, and I would like to show you some of them because they are mostly very interesting games. There are some games in there which feature some huge jokes from either player, especially my opponents. I end up going 3-0 in pools. There's a pool with, in my case, European countries in which there were 4 players, so I play against 3 others in a best of 3 2v2, and if your team in general wins the most pool games, you advance to playoffs. In this case, we did advance to playoffs. We were the first seed, which is really nice, and to celebrate or just to have some 2v2 content out there, I'd like to show you my 2v2 games that I played. So I went 3-0 in pools. I actually did not lose a single game for some absurd reason. As you're gonna see, I should have lost a lot of these games, but either my opponents choked or they didn't see a way out, or they had weird sets which allowed them or me to win. And well, I'm not gonna spoil semifinals yet, but I've also played that. My team hasn't though. So my first opponent that I played was MotoGP. MotoGP was Southern Europe, I believe, and it was one of the first matches I think my entire team played, and definitely the first match of 2v2 that I played. I brought a team of Metagross, which has Rockslide and Bulldoze for ZY and for things like Heatran, 2 Spexmons, Hoopa and Greninja, with Protean Greninja, and the Hyperspace Hole, I believe, one of those Psychic type attacks that breaks through protection on Hoopa, and then finally a Blastoise with Fake Out, Aura Sphere, Water Pulse, and Dark Pulse. So looking at his team, he does not have a single Dark Resist. In fact, 3 of his Pokemon might die in one hit to a Dark Pulse from Specs Hoopa or Specs Greninja. His Suicune is definitely threatening, but I don't really have too much for Suicune other than just pound it really hard. Especially if it sets up Calm Minds, or if Lati sets up Calm Minds, that can be annoying. My Metagross does not do anything to Katana. It doesn't do much to Suicune, it doesn't do a lot to Lati. It can meter mash, but if it's Reflect type or Charm, it'll go down really soon. And Gengar can outspeed it and potentially 1-hit KO with the Shadow Ball. So I did want to bring Metagross. So I'd like to bring Blastoise with some Dark Pulse support. Decided to bring Greninja over Hoopa because he has some mid-speed tier Pokemon in his team, Gengar, Latias, which all get outsped by Greninja, but don't outspeed, but do outspeed Hoopa. So I wanted to bring that. So let's see how it goes. He leads off with Kartana and Suicune, as I do bring out the Blastoise and the Greninja. Now, the only reason, in my opinion, why you would bring out Kartana in this situation is if you were Scarf Kartana, because if you were Slow Kartana, he would just die to a Dark Pulse to a 1, because he knows I'm probably going to bring Greninja. So I figured this has to be Scarf Katana, and especially if it is, I have to Fake Out and Dark Pulse at turn 1. So that's really my only play at this point, and I do. And judging by the fact that he gets flinched before my Greninja gets a turn off, but not before the Fake Out, means he's definitely Scarf Katana, and I'm glad that I made this play. But now his Suicune does get a turn to set up a Calm Mind. And this is potentially problematic. It's not that problematic because I do have 2 Pokemon that can keep hammering at it, but if I do not get anything out of this turn, like flinches or crits, he can potentially set up to quite high and beat my Pokemon. So now I just have to flinch, try and flinch it, try and crit it to death, which just doesn't happen just yet, but it is in my favour because at the moment I'm just hitting it with Dark Pulses. Every Dark Pulse has a 20% chance to flinch, both attacks have a 5% chance to crit, so basically I'm about a 30% chance every turn to axe him. And if I flinch him, he's basically dead because he can't recover up enough for the next time, or he doesn't get up enough Calm Minds to prevent me from actually beating him. I get, I believe, 4 chances to flinch him, which is about a 60% chance, and about 12 to 18, depending on rolls, chances to crit him. As I do eventually crit him once, which means he loses. Then he calls me out on bullshit in the chat, but I don't really agree because As I said, I had about a 60% chance or more to flinch him, and then I also had a over 50% chance to crit him, so I had like an 80% chance to win that match. So yeah, you could say I axed him, but I don't agree. I think that was a good game though, and definitely a good team by him. So game 2, he brings the exact same team as from game 1. I decided to bring something that is better suited to deal with Suicune, because I don't want to rely on getting flinches or crits in the second game. So I decided to bring double electric, Thunderous Symmetric, with a Banded Zygarde and a pretty common Finny with Moonblast and Taunt actually. It's a physical Thunderous with Skydrop, Wild Charge, Superpower and Taunt. So it doesn't do that much to Katana, so I think Electric is definitely amazing here because it kind of beats all 4 of his Pokemon, especially Katana does really well against in Suicune. And Latias and Gengar doesn't do too bad against either. I can't really bring my Tapu Fini. It does have Protect, so it can potentially stall out a turn, but Gengar can potentially kill me with this Scarf Sludge Bomb or Sludge Wave and just knock me out anyway. So I decided to bring, because of this, the Manectric and the Tornadus, as he brings out Gengar plus Latias, I believe. And Latias are all Mega Latias in this tier. Latias are all Mega Latias in this tier. They usually run Roost, Calm Mind, Recover Calm Mind, Stored Power, and then a 4th attack with, which could be Charm, which could be Throwing Up Balls, which could be Reflect type, which could be Ice Beam, could be a lot of things. And Gengar, I really don't know what he's running. I am running Charge Beam on my 4th move as on Manectric, because of course Volt Switch is useless if you also have Thunderbolt. There's no switching in this meta. So Thunderbolt does not kill Gengar, but Charge Beam can very well 2 KO, and also of course Charge Beam into Thunderbolt kills. So my best play here is to charge the Gengar and also Skydrop it, because Gengar, if it's not Scarf, it can do a lot of damage with a Life Orb Sludge Wave. But instead I am too afraid of Latias, and so I make a misplay in this situation and I Skydrop the Latias and hit Gengar with a Thunderbolt, and both of these moves, in my opinion, on my end, are bad. Because first of all, Latias is not that threatening in one turn, and this damage on Manectric is really bad. And also the Thunderbolt on Manectric is also a bad play, because Charge Beam just 2 KOs it and has a chance to attack raise as well, so there's really no reason to Thunderbolt, and Skydrop also kills after a Charge Beam. So now it is Thunderous versus Latias, and I want to talk a bit about this. So Thunderous in this situation has no way of winning this match. Thunderous does 25%, well 24 to like 28% with Skydrop, so it is a 4-hit KO. And Latias can 2-hit KO me with Ice Beam. It also has a Roost, which just means my Skydrop won't do anything. Even a crit Skydrop does less than Roost recovers. And the rest of my moves don't do anything. I have Taunt, which can be useful, but Wild Charge and Superpower just lower my attack and don't do much either. Do they do less than Skydrop? So realistically, there's absolutely no way for me to win this. If he Calm Minds me here, he kills me next to him with Ice Beam. Ice Beam is like 90%. So if he Calm Minds here, he wins. Unless I double crit him with Skydrop. If he Roosts, there is no way for me to win this because he's at 100% and even a double Skydrop crit doesn't kill. If he goes for Ice Beam here, he can 2-hit kill me with Ice Beam. And there's no way for me to win this unless I double crit Skydrop and get the high rolls, which is a 1 in 6 to 800 chance, depending on even if you can even get Ice Beam freezes. So there's absolutely no way for me to win this match, unless he randomly throws out a 4th move that doesn't do anything. And he goes for the Charm. So Charm is a good move on Latias, of course, but unfortunately not against the Thunderous with Defiant. But even if I wasn't Defiant, it is still a bad move, because the only way for me to realistically win this is double critting Skydrop. And Skydrop critting, of course, is not affected by Charm's attack drop, because crits aren't affected by your own attack stat if they're negative. So there's really no reason at all for him to charm me, even if I wasn't Defiant. But now I have a chance of winning. No, actually, I should say I still have no chance of winning at all, because he can just click Ice Beam here. Because if I Skydrop again, then on the turn he drops me down, he can roost. There's no need to predict. And if I taunt him, then Ice Beam just 2-hit KOs me and I die. So there's still actually no way for me to win this if he just Ice Beams this turn. But I try to taunt him just in case he chokes, and in fact he does choke again by going for a recover on the turn that I taunt, which he had a 100% chance of winning this match, and he threw it away like clicking the wrong move twice in a row. Probably the first and the only move that he could have used that lost him the game. And the second move, the second turn, he had to click Ice Beam, but still he had a 100% chance of winning that game. So that was a very weak game. He choked that away very heavily. I'd like to say otherwise, but unfortunately he just choked away the game there. And that's how it goes sometimes. So I 2-0'd MotoGP, and the next game I have was against Rumpelstiltskin. Rumpelstiltskin is the tier leader for 2v2. He is a very good player. He has probably full control over the 2v2 metagame, and he's quite knowledgeable. He generally runs a few common combos though that I know of him, because I've played him a lot in private rooms. I know he loves to bring Arcanine Gyarados, Frathorn Thunderous, Mucurum that is, Diancie Trick Room, stuff like that. So I kind of already knew what he was going to bring probably, and that definitely gave him an advantage, or me an advantage. I decided to bring Hoopa this time. It is an Assault Vest Hoopa, rather than the Specs one that I used in the other team. A Banner Guard again, a Mawile with Sword Stance, and a Kyurem, which is Life Orbed and fully special. All four of the Pokemon on my team look like they might be physical, but in fact the Kyurem and the Hoopa are fully special, and that actually helps me quite a lot in this game. And of course the team matchup as well. He brought the Arcanine and Gyarados, which I expected him in, but also the Koko and the Electrifier, which is probably the most offensive thing he's ever brought into V2. So that kind of surprised me a little bit, but still fine. Kyurem has a good matchup against both. Hoopa with his Assault Vest does a lot of damage to them and doesn't take too much back. So I definitely think I have the matchup advantage here. He leads out with Arcanine Gyarados, as I lead out with Kyurem and Hoopa. This is because I figured he would bring Gyarados Arcanine. I know this is not the Intimidate Arcanine, but it is physically defensive. So I figured he might want to bring two physically defensive mons, Gyarados with Intimidate and then the Will-O-Wisp Arcanine, just because the team that I have looks like it is all physical, and so he definitely wants some physical damage. Absorbus on his team. And my special mons do a lot of damage to him. So turn 1, he decides to Mega Evolve with his Gyarados. As I make a bad play, in my opinion, I Ice Beam the Gyarados with my Kyurem, which is basically something that I shouldn't have done. There's really no reason for me to do that. I thought he would stay in regular form because of my potential Earth powers or whatever, but it's just a very bad play. There's no reason for me to do that. I do carry the Thunderbolt for Gyarados, and that is very nice because that actually does 2 KO him, so there's even less reason for me to have Ice Beam did. But after I Earth Power the Arcanine, which I should have done turn 1, he goes for a Flame Charge, which is a good play because this actually gives him a chance now. My Kyurem is still very good, but if he kills his Arcanine with my his Arcanine my Hoopa this turn, and then Dragon Dances up with Gyarados, he can potentially beat my Kyurem one-on-one with his Gyarados and crunch it to kill it after my Life Orb and Will-O-Wisp damage. So I think that is what he should have done, but instead he thinks he is faster with Gyarados than my Kyurem. He didn't really pay attention turn 1, and so he just tries to kill my Gyarados, kill my Hoopa, kill my Kyurem with his Gyarados, and Morning Sun with his Arcanine on the final turn. Morning Sun I really don't understand because he just dies to my Kyurem and his Gyarados just dies to my Hoopa. I just really don't understand why he would Morning Sun there. Morning Sun doesn't make sense because my Current and my Hooper both do more damage to Arcanine than he can do with Morning Sun, and I can just double kill him. I think he definitely had a chance to win that, but maybe he didn't all have their Dragon Dance, so that could have been a reason, but I think he did. So I think that was a bad play on his end, but maybe it will go better game 2 against him. I brought the same team that I did a few games ago against MotoGP. This team was actually built for Rumble because of the Specs Hoopa on it, which generally destroys him. This is a team of him that I've seen before. This is also a Skydrop Thunderous on his end, a physical one. Ghost Ferrothorn generally, and regular Coco and Steelix. So I decided to bring Hoopa because it destroys him with Blastoise support. Blastoise actually also beats him. Aura Sphere kills Ferrothorn and the Steelix. It does have to be wary of the Tapu Koko, but my Hoopa can one-hit KO it through Protect with the Hyperspace Hole, and I can just fake out and kill it and then have both of my mons left for the other mon that could potentially hurt me. So that's why I really like this combo. Blastoise can fake out and Hoopa can Hyperspace Hole, and then any offensive mon just can't really deal with it because either you get killed by Hoopa's Hyperspace Hole, or you get faked out and can't move that turn. So I have the hidden power for Ferrothorn, but it actually lives. I did not expect it to live. But fortunately Gyrobo does not kill my Hoopa, which means I can kill it the next turn. I know I'm faster because he runs a very slow Thunderous, and I'm just a max speed or near max speed Hoopa. I am modest, but with 252 speed EVs, and now it's a 2v1. So even though they probably both lose 1-on-1 to Thunderous, together they do beat him. I actually go for Dark Balls when I should have gone for a Water Balls, which is just slightly stronger. I might have killed him a turn earlier, and that could have gotten him some potential to beat me with Thunder Punch Barrows. Also, we should have just hit Hoopa and try to kill it before he killed Gyarados with the Thunder Punches. But he was in the back anyway, and likely won everyone regardless, so that's a nice game too. And the third match is against Ninja Dog. So match 3 versus Ninja Dog. Ninja Dog is a very good player in my opinion. He went 0-3 in group stages, but I don't really agree with that. I mean, it's true obviously, but I think he's a much better player than that. I think he's a better player than some of the others. And he brought a very nice offensive team consisting of 4 very fast attackers. They all outspeed my Blacephalon, which just says something. Unfortunately, I have a Scarf Zygarde, and Scarf Zygarde just completely obliterates his team. He has 2 electric types, which Tapu Koko gets outsped, Zeraora gets outsped, Terrakion doesn't do much to me, and Deoxys attack just dies to an E-speed. So, from team preview, he's almost already lost because of my Zygarde. I just give him with getting Zygarde with some low punny support, and basically there's not much that can beat him, me and his team. He decides to bring Tapu Koko and Deoxys attack. I figured his best bet might be to send in the Zeraora, just so he has some fake out support and might be able to get some mind games off. And like if he fakes out Lopunny, then I might not be able to kill Deoxys, or if he fakes out Zygarde, I can't extreme speed it, stuff like that. But unfortunately, Tapu Koko plus Deoxys just loses. The balloon does not matter for the 1000 arrows because it just hits people in the air anyway, but that doesn't even matter because I can just kill Deoxys with extreme speed. I'm Adamant Scarf, so there's no rule. Tapu Koko just dies to Lopunny on its own, and definitely to Zygarde plus Lopunny, so yeah, kind of an unfortunate matchup for him. There was no really way for him to win against me with Scarf Zygarde. It's not a common Pokemon. I had used it in a match before, of course, the last one, but I didn't use it, and this match I just basically win with Scarf Zygarde. So that was unfortunate from team preview. Game 2, I bring in Mr. Mime. Mr. Mime is actually some nice support for the Deoxys. Unfortunately, my Deoxys is fully special. It does not have superpower. It does not have taunt. It does not have any something like that. It does not even have extreme speed, it's fully special with Psycho Boost, Thunderbolt and Ice Beam. So against Tyranitar, against Excadrill, against Diancie, it just doesn't do anything, so I can't bring it this match. And Mr. Mime is not good enough support for Kyurem or Gyarados to bring in this match. So I'm basically forced to bring Gyarados plus Kyurem. Gyarados does amazing versus this team, especially the 3 rock types, and he's going to bring 2 of them. He's going to bring Tyranitar plus Diancie. And this is not a great matchup for me, honestly. Gyarados does amazing, but my Kyurem is actually an Assault Vest Kyurem, and quite specially bulky. It's not that strong with the Assault Vest. It has Earth Power to hit them both super effectively, but it still doesn't do a lot of damage with the special defense boost from the sand. And actually, as it turns out, it is a max HP, max special defense Diancie, and also a Trick Room Tyranitar, which is also bulky. So basically my attacks from Kyurem are going to do absolutely zero to either of these Pokemon. Gyarados is amazing, but it generally doesn't 2v1 Pokemon even if it has a good matchup. I mean, Gyarados is a great Pokemon, but it can't 2v1 rock types. So the Intimidate on Tyranitar is nice, but I have to figure out, is this a Mega Tyranitar or is this a Mega Diancie? And from Team Preview, I figured because generally Tyranitar are Mega and Diancie are generally not Mega, they're generally Trick Room, which might make sense with a Mega Tyranitar. I decided to think that it is a Mega Tyranitar and thus have to take it out first. Well, I Dragon Lanced him one actually, just to make sure I can kill Tyranitar, as it can't really kill me with anything. I figured Mega Diancie, if it's Mega, it might Mega Evolve and click Moonblast on Gyarados, so I wanted to stay in regular form, but as it is actually Trick Room, it can't do much, and I just decided to Mega and attack Tyranitar. I should have attacked Diancie here, because killing Diancie is much more important than trying to kill Tyranitar. The Icy Wind Mist Term one doesn't matter all that much. It could matter in some variations, it doesn't in this one, as I did kill off the Tyranitar, but now Diancie is still here, and it actually has a good chance of winning against me because of the defense raise. But he doesn't mix a Rock Slide turn 2, which means I actually can live a Dazzling Clean with my Kyurem, which means I do win because Earth Power plus Waterfall kills even at +2 defense. So that's fortunate for me, the Rock Slide miss. This is the only match during the whole series, like during the 6 games, that I feel I was more lucky on. The other matches my opponent just didn't play very well, or well, not didn't play very well, but misplayed on some occasion where I could have won, or I just won off team matchup. This match I actually had a worse team matchup. I actually couldn't do much with Kyurem, but I had, I think, about a 35 to 40% chance of winning. He had to get a defense race with his Diancie, and he had to hit like a bunch of Rock Slides and Diamond Storms, which are in his favour, but just don't always happen in 2v2, and that just goes to show. I might have brought like a too stupid team with Mr. Mime, but it worked out in the end. And shout out to Ninja Dog, who actually I think is the best opponent out of the bunch I faced, and made some very good teams. I actually really like this team. I can suggest you use it on one of mine. So as I already said, we made it to semifinals. I went 3-0. My team went I think 11-10 combined. So our total record was 14-10, which put us in first place. And now we're in semifinals. So in semifinals I play Team Asia, and Team Asia's team player is Kaiv, with the a lot Kaiv plays. Kaiv is a bit of a character in the 2v2 scene. He talks a lot of trash, so I definitely wanted to win this one just because of the matchup, and he was really looking forward to it. He was hyping it up in chat, which was pretty funny, and he was also typing a lot in the chat during the game, which definitely affected his play, I think. He kept talking to his teammates, he kept talking to people, he kept turning Moltjoin on and off. And even though you have 5 minutes in a tournament match, if you spend the first full talking to your teammates and turning people into voices and stuff, then it just kind of chews away at your time. So looking at team matchup, I bring dedicated Trick Room. Kaiv and I know kind of each other's playstyles. I know he likes to ring generally speed boosting mons like Weather, like Tapu Koko with Raichu, Holucha, and also this Clefairy he brings a lot. So I kind of knew what he was going to bring, so I wanted to prevent that or like counter team that, and he also knows what I bring, so these counter teams are definitely going to come into play. I bring a dedicated Trick Room, which I don't usually bring. It is a Blastoise with Water Spout this time, Fake Out Protect and Aura Sphere, a Hoopa with Black Glasses, it's physical, because I need a physical mon on my team of course, the Camerupt with Eruption, and a Trick Room Oranguru with a Colbur Berry to half the damage of Dark type moves. He brings a Gyarados, which I assume is Mega, Ferrothorn, Deoxys attack, which is generally either Life Orb or some other boosting move and item, and a Clefairy, which is just Trend Guard, which makes his Gyarados and Ferrothorn, I assume, take less damage in a 2v2 situation. So looking at his team, I doubt he's going to bring Ferrothorn, just because I have a Camerupt, which is generally the most common team member you see for Trick Room. So whenever you see an Oranguru, you can usually assume it comes with Camerupt, and so I didn't think he was going to bring that, and so I bring a team that is a bit weaker to Ferrothorn, the two that I might have liked, predicting him not to bring Ferrothorn. I bring my Blastoise in this meta, or in this game, with my Oranguru, hoping he would bring in either his Clefairy, or well, just basically not his Ferrothorn, because Aura Sphere does do it KO it, but it means I can't Water Spout and I can only attack one. So he brings out Deoxys and Gyarados, so that's great for me. I have Aura Sphere if he Megas, and I have Psychic and Water Spout if he does not Mega. Meanwhile, Deoxys is a mon that is very frail, so if I can get up a Trick Room, it's basically dead meat, dead weight on his team. So I definitely need to make sure I get up Trick Room. How do I do that? I need to do it with Oranguru. Now I have a Colbur Berry, but Deoxys is a knockoff into Crunch, can kill. Actually, it definitely will kill my Oranguru, so I don't want him to be able to double attack my Oranguru, or if he runs Taunt on Deoxys, I don't want to have that happen. So I decide to predict him not to attack my Blastoise with his Gyarados, and to fake out his Deoxys and get up a Trick Room. Just because generally, if you bring an Oranguru, your teammate protects, and then Oranguru sets up a Trick Room. As he does not protect with his Deoxys, and he does attack my Oranguru with his Gyarados, and it takes 40% after the Colbur Berry. Now this is great because, well, let's just finish the turn. Once I set up a Trick Room, his Deoxys is basically dead, but I still have to attack it. I cannot just double attack Gyarados. Well, I might, but that means Deoxys can get off an attack, and I do not know the set on Deoxys, other than that it is not leftovers, because it did not show. Oranguru plus Blastoise can kill the Gyarados, because Aura Sphere does not kill, but it does 2-hit KO. And Aura Sphere actually also 2-hit KOs, oh well, OHKOs Deoxys from this range, it definitely kills. Psychic has a small chance of killing Deoxys, but it doesn't generally. So I really need to basically instruct the Blastoise and decide which of the two mons to kill at the moment. I could either double Water Spout, but that doesn't kill Gyarados, and if Gyarados crunches my Blastoise and then Deoxys extreme speeds, it might be way too low to actually finish it off. So I decide in this case to double attack Gyarados, so that it is a Oranguru versus Deoxys in the case that Deoxys might kill Blastoise. So I double Aura Sphere the Gyarados with an Instructed Aura Sphere to kill it, because I also predicted Gyarados to definitely not protect. Deoxys I think might have protected, which is the safest play, as he misses a Thunder with Deoxys. Now he comes crying in chat about it, but I don't think it mattered, because yes, Thunder would have killed my Blastoise more definitely, because he told me it is Specs Deoxys actually, but Specs Thunder does not kill Oranguru. I am invested in special defense, I'm plus natured, so it does not kill Oranguru. And if Psychic doesn't OHKO, then it definitely 2 KOs. So unless he got lucky with Parabuzz and hitting all of them, then I still would have killed Deoxys. So this Thunder miss did not matter, in my opinion anyway. Feel free to disagree. So that was game 1. I think I just got the team matchup of him did not expect me to bring Trick Room. That was a kind of a counter team. So let's go into game 2. Game 2 I bring a kind of a weird team. I bring Mega Lucario, which is a mon that just hasn't seen much use at all. It's quite bad in doubles generally because it's a fighting type and there's a lot of psychic types like Cresselia, but also Tapu Fini, which generally beat it, and a lot of Intimidate, in this case the Incineroar, but I like to bring it because he also brings a lot of DNC Pulu teams, and Mega Lucario just kind of beats the hell with those. So in this case I don't think I can bring Mega Lucario because of his Mawile and his Incineroar, which might be able to both come out, and then double Intimidate will basically mean I can't do anything. So nice bring on his end with double Intimidate. I have 3 physical attackers, so he's definitely gonna bring 1 Intimidator. I don't think he's gonna bring Bulu. Let's see what he brings. I need to bring out Gyarados and Whimsicott because, well, my Incineroar doesn't do anything. It gets double intimidated potentially, it doesn't do anything to Bulu, it doesn't do anything to Cress, and Mawile and the Incineroar just kind of eat it as well. So these are basically the 2 ones I can bring. Whimsicott is actually interesting. It is a Charm Whimsicott, which helps a lot in this game because he also has all physical attackers apart from Cress, which just can't do a whole lot. It's basically just there for support. So charming his physical attacker is really useful, and this Intimidate is too. Mawile is still very threatening, and he decides to protect turn 1, which is a very good play. Just scouting and playing Trick Room. I charm a DD just in case, well, I just need to get off more damage on Cress, and the -1 crunch doesn't do a whole lot. I also don't want to Mega Evolve here because then Play Rough will kill me. And in this case, I need to figure out what Cresselia is going to do, because it can either helping hand the Mawile to let it try to kill my Gyarados if I don't charm him again. I might potentially Encore him though, which puts him in a rough spot. Or he could ally switch, which means I charm into the Crest rather than the Mawile, and then Mawile just has 2 more stages of attack than it should have, and it can 1v1 my Gyarados. So those are mostly his 2 options, or it could go for like a Wish or whatever, or an Icy Wind, because both of my mons are quite fast, so maybe after an Icy Wind or 2, then after Trick Room expires he cannot beat me. But he does go for the ally switch, which means I charm into Cresselia. I could have honestly predicted this, which might have been a better play. I definitely thought it was going to be an option, but I didn't want to predict it just in case it wasn't going to ally switch or I didn't have ally switch. But I do pay like the full price for it because he ends up critting my Gyarados. I have Waterfall, which do kills at this point, but it's still any right just forfeit, of course, because my Whimsicott can't beat either of these Pokemon. Yeah, unfortunate crit, but he's still at the edge over me. I would have had to predict right. I would have had to charm into the right mon the next turn, and then kill Mawile. Basically hit Mawile twice, so I needed to get 1 or 2 50-50s right to win anyway, so that kind of removed my any and all chances of me winning the game, but he still had the upper hand, so I should have definitely played this better. I probably could have predicted the ally switch here, or no product game that's this weak to Mawile, I guess. I didn't expect him to win Mawile though, he never bought it before, but that's well prep on his part. So game 3, he and I both bring very standard teams. I think just because we didn't want to fuck up. Of course he predicted me, and this is kind of a counter team from him to me. The first 2 teams I kind of tried to counter team him, and I figured if that didn't work out I'd just bring a standard team. And he did well in predicting this. So I think his Metagross is definitely very threatening because it has clear body, so it is not affected by Mawile's Intimidate. He has 4 physical attackers though, so I definitely want to bring the Intimidate from Mawile. Then what is further good on his team? Tapu Fini, I feel, kind of gets destroyed by Mawile and Kyurem, which I might actually both bring. And it also doesn't do a whole lot to Latios. It only really works well against Tapu Fini, which it does beat. But in case I don't bring Fini, it's kind of dead weight, so I figured he would not bring that. Then he can't bring both Mega Gyarados and Mega Metagross, so I figured he'd bring Zero Aura, also to beat my Finny down. And then one of the two Megas, probably Metagross, but maybe Gyarados, so let's see what he brings. Yeah, I would definitely want to bring Marwell, and then I decided to bring Finny, because my Latias is Mega Latias, and that can get destroyed by Gyarados, and it's also a double Mega, so I'd have to not Mega it, because I definitely want to Mega my Marwell. And the Kyurem can get faked out, close combated, and potentially intimidated, which I don't want. It's a physical Kyurem. So I decided to bring Marwell plus Finny, just to Finny for the Metagross, which Marwell might have problems with. And not because I don't think he will bring Kyurem. So he does bring Zeraora plus one of the two Megas. Intimidate is not going to the Metagross, and here I have to decide what to do. Now the Metagross, I definitely think is not going to protect, and I definitely think Zeraora is going to fake out, probably into Marwell. So I need to decide what to do here. I think, well, I know that fake out does not do anything to Marwell, and if he does fake out into Finny, then Marwell will just kill the Zeraora with Play Rough. And Finny beats Metagross, especially if Marwell decides to live from turn 1. So if I get a Play Rough on Zeraora turn 1, I just auto win. If I don't, which means he would have to fake out Marwell, then Tapu Fini would get off heavy damage on Zeraora, and then Marwell can Sucker Punch it turn 2, and then it would turn into a either 1v1 or 2v1 against Metagross, which I can win. So that is going to be my game plan for this match. I decide to double attack the Zeraora because I don't think he's going to protect. As he fakes out my Tapu Fini, which means my Marwell can just kill him. He goes for a Stomping Tantrum, but it doesn't really matter. Just happen to hope I hit the fake out, I mean the Play Rough, as I do. And at this point, I've basically won because his Metagross loses the Fini 1-on-1 if it's a if it doesn't get too many Meteor Master attack races, but I can also kind of predict it, so I decide to protect my Marwell just to be absolutely sure I can beat him. And at this point, he decides, he realized that he actually meant to fake out the Marwell and not the Tapu Fini. I think I still would have had a good chance of winning even if he had fake out Marwell, because I could have Sucker Punched it afterwards and it would have been a 1-on-1. But it was still a very good game. I definitely wanted to win this match because he trash talked a lot, so I didn't want to lose to him. So I definitely prepped maybe a bit extra for that. And that were my matches so far in the World Cup. And the first one is semifinals. US completed that match. The other 7 are still to be played. So I hope to be able to bring you some gut results in a little bit. So see you next time, and peace.